The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's Role Play Clinic with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. I'd like to start by welcoming our participants to our role play session. I hope all of you are ready and excited to volunteer to do some role playing or ask any of your follow-up related questions, particularly as it applies, of course, to the universal callback script. Now, a couple little things before I get started, as I have to do. The first is, you know, we have our boot camp coming up on January the 15th in San Francisco, and I really want to encourage all of our West Coast. Well, everybody's invited, of course. If you're in the coaching program, you're invited to attend. However, obviously it's most convenient if you're on the West Coast, and we do East Coast events as well. But the next one we have coming up, as I said, January 15th at Union Square in downtown San Francisco. It's an awesome day. You know, we'll start at 8:30 in the morning, and we'll go right through till 6:30 in the evening. So it's a big, long, full day. Tons and tons of detailed information where we can focus just on you, and we're really looking forward to that. So please RSVP and let us know that you will be attending. Of course, there's no cost to you, and it's a closed session only to members of the coaching program, or of course the Platinum program, any level of coaching that you're involved in with Craig Proctor. That's who this is for. Now, today is our role play session. We focus specifically and exclusively on following up with our prospects and everything that is involved in following up with our prospects. And I wanted to begin because I had a neat experience this week. You guys know, for probably the majority of you, you have attended one of the half-day seminars that we conduct around the country, you know, by me, by Craig, but you know that this kind of a format where we bring a message like this, it's not unique or exclusive only to us. Well, I had the opportunity this week of going to one of those half-day seminars from another real estate quote-unquote trainer. And one of the things that was discussed fits right into our talk here this morning. They were talking about lead conversion over the phone. And what was being discussed are different dialogue scripts to handle objections over the phone. Now, you can imagine that I'm sitting there kind of undercover, and I want to burst, you know, I'm bursting at the seams, wanting to weigh in on this discussion in regards to handling different objections over the phone. Like, let me give you an example. One of them was, you know, I think we're thinking we're probably just going to go for sale by owner. You know, you know, the market's good and homes are selling pretty well here, so we'll probably just try it ourselves. And you know, the dialogue, the script for that was, you know, you need to explain that, you know, for sale by owners are unsuccessful and they net a lot more money if they even are successful in selling their home. All of this dialogue over the phone. We have to understand, okay, that here's what we're dealing with, all right? We will never, ever handle an objection over the phone unless the objection pertains to booking the appointment or the benefit that we're offering the prospect. Okay, so let me try to clarify this in everybody's mind, okay? If the prospect objects to the offer that you've made them on the phone, then we should be able to handle that. That's different. If the prospect objects to meeting with us, that is an objection that we should have to handle over the phone. But barring those two things, there is no objection that we need to handle over the phone. Like the objection of, well, why should I list my home with you? Well, maybe you shouldn't. You don't know that yet. I need to see your home and share with you what I can do to help you, and then you can make that decision. Like, the purpose of the phone call isn't to handle that objection. The purpose of the phone call is to get face to face so that you can, with a captive audience, you can share all of the benefits of using you. Right? You're not asking them to choose you over the phone. What you're asking to do is apply for the job. That's what I'm asking to do. What I'm asking to do is meet with you to apply for the job. I'm not asking you over the telephone to hire me, nor am I trying to set myself apart from anybody else. All I'm doing, and I'm saying, if this were to be an objection, how much commission do you charge? Well, that's an easy one. I don't know. I haven't seen your home yet. I mean, it blew me away that what should be designated for the face-to-face appointment is being used over the phone. And of course, what is going to happen, and this was demonstrated rather remarkably, is that what happens when you role play this is you get into an argument with a prospect. Okay, now watch this. Do you agree that if you get into an argument with a prospect, you are essentially fighting with a prospect, telling them that what they think is wrong over the phone? You're probably not going to be very successful in procuring an appointment with somebody who you just fought with, who probably doesn't like you very much because of it. I mean, the whole premise of it is wrong. So they're demonstrating, look, here's how good you can be with handling these objections. Let's do some role playing, and you can throw anything at me. And what it turns into is this. You have a prospect fighting with the realtor, and the realtor telling them how wrong they are and how misguided they are and how ill-informed they are. And all it does is leaves the prospect thinking, well, even if you're right, I don't like you anyway. See, here's the difference. And this is, I know that I'm preaching to the choir here, but the difference is this. Craig's universal callback script was born out of thousands and thousands and thousands of actual calls to real prospects. Whereas what I'm listening to there is theory. It's theory. It's what sounds like it ought to be effective. It's kind of like, I know how to handle that objection, so I want to look really smart and I want to handle that objection, even though it doesn't make sense to handle it at that point as opposed to face-to-face. Here's the deal. Only somebody that has done this thousands and thousands and thousands of times would know how this really works in practice. And that's really the difference here. So we're going to work on that today. All right. This is what I decided from the moment that I attended that event this week. I decided that what we're going to work on here today is we're going to do role playing, and we're going to work on handling objections. And here's very simply what I want you to do. I want you to be able to compartmentalize. Is this an objection that I should handle over the phone, or is this an objection that I should handle face-to-face? That's what you want to consider. I throw out objections, and you decide, is this an objection that should be handled now over the phone, or is this an objection that should be handled when we're face-to-face? It's that simple. Okay, so having said that, in addition to volunteering to do role-playing, you know that any of your follow-up related questions are very, very welcomed here. As long as they pertain to follow-up to the universal script, et cetera, then let's crank it up. So Andrea, having said all that, why don't we get started with any chat questions, any volunteers, anything at all?
If you haven't done so already, go ahead and type your question or comment, or that you'd like to role play in the chat box, or simply just click the yellow hand on your control panel. We can open your mic. I'm going to go first with a question that was typed in from Trudy. How do you overcome the objection, we don't know when we're moving, it will be at least 5 years?
Okay, well, but remember, what is the purpose of the phone call? Okay, so let's start with that. What is the purpose of calling a prospect? What is the purpose? Is it to book an appointment with somebody who's moving in 5 years? Of course not. The purpose of the phone call is to determine timing and motivation. Okay, so if I say you're thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months, and they say no, it'll probably be more like 5 years at least. Okay, well, I might want to satisfy myself with another question. So I say, well, look, if you were to make a move, are you planning on staying here locally or moving out of the area? And they say, no, in 5 years we'll be retiring, so we would be moving out of the area. Okay, well, I think you've satisfied yourself pretty well that they're not moving right now. Their timing and motivation is both on the very low end. Are they motivated? No. What does their timing look like? 5 years. And they've given you a specific reason why. Do you agree that if you were generating a few leads every single day, that focusing on them probably would be at the cost of focusing on somebody else who's going to be moving within 5 years, maybe even within 6 months? Okay, so we've got to understand what is our purpose here. It's not to convince somebody who wants to move in 5 years that instead they should move in 5 months. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is to discover when are they planning on making a move. not to force it, to discover it. If what we discover is they're moving in 5 years after they retire, then we've got our answer. 5 years. Okay, well, here's our deal. We can have them in our database, but honestly, if you're generating leads every day, then we don't need a follow-up system for somebody who's not moving for 5 years. There are enough prospects that are moving within 12 months, within 6 months, within 3 months, that we don't need to focus on them. So can we put them in our database? Yes. Can we set them up so that they receive, over the holidays, they receive a voice blast? Yes. Can we send them a stay in touch newsletter quarterly, not every month? They don't want that. Yes, we could do things like that. But we're not trying to trick somebody who's planning on making a move in 5 years for a very good reason, that instead they should do it in the next 5 months. It's not the purpose of the script. The only reason that a realtor would do that is if they don't have anyone else to work with. Now, think about that. If your lead generation system doesn't generate choice, it doesn't generate leads for you, then when we finally find a human being, then they're everything we've got. Now we have to try to force them into doing something that they don't want to do. We never want to be in that position. So instead, we need to make sure we're generating a flow of prospects so that we're not trying to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. We're trying to discover the ones that are motivated. What is their motivation? What is their timing? What does it look like? Are they in this process now or later? It's a great question.
Okay, our next question from Michelle. How should we best modify the role play if the person says they are an investor?
It's the best for investors. Okay, listen. Okay, so you're an investor, Andrea. As an investor, it's critical that you are aware of the very best deals as they come on the market. Would you like me to email you every day all of the very best investment opportunities that come on the market? What I'll include are any distress sales, bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, private listings, pocket listings, properties that are going to be on MLS but haven't hit the MLS yet. All of these properties are what represent the best investment opportunities. If I know what you're looking for in an investment property, in a return on investment, I can make sure that these are emailed to you the minute they are available for sale. It's absolutely free. There is no obligation. Would that be helpful for you, Andrea? Now,
Yes.
I'm betting that Andrea's going to say yes. Okay, now I'm going to say this. When can we get together for 15, 20 minutes so I can understand exactly what you're looking for in the investment property with the numbers and everything else so that I can do a good job of only sending you the right properties? It's free, there's no obligation, and I'm flexible. When have you got 15, 20 minutes so we can do this properly? Now, Andrea pushes back and she presents an objection, but her objection is to the appointment, is to meeting with me. It's not hiring me because I haven't mentioned anything about that. Her objection is, well, I don't want to meet with you. I don't have to meet with you. Just send me the property. Send me everything. And I say this, Andrea, I couldn't help but notice that you're scouring the internet trying to find the best investment opportunities. And I have to tell you that the reason you have difficulty finding the best investment opportunities is because what you're doing is what every other buyer is doing. You're looking at properties that are already on the market that have been overlooked by the other buyers. What I'm proposing is that instead of doing what you're doing now, instead we notify you of the properties before they're seen by all of the other mainstream buyers in the marketplace who are going to buy up the best properties before you even know they're available. It's free. There's no obligation. But as an investor, it's critical that if you're to be successful, you are aware of the best deals early before other buyers. Are you sure, Andrea, you won't consider a brief 15, 20-minute appointment at your convenience? You can leave your checkbook in the car. There's no cost to it, but it's critical we do a good job. Would you reconsider a brief appointment? Now, everybody listening here is saying that makes perfect sense. That makes absolute perfect sense. Why? Because it does. What Craig did was he figured out what is the logic hammer that I can pull out of my toolbox and crack the prospect over the head with, where they just have to conclude, well, that makes sense. It's called logic. And the prospect can't say, well, I'll just do what I'm doing. because doing what they're doing has caused them to scour the internet looking for an investment property that they haven't bought yet. In other words, what you're doing ain't working. So if what you're doing ain't working, let me explain why. It's because what you're doing is what every other buyer, thousands and thousands of buyers, are also doing. And since you're looking for a great deal, you can't do that. You have to do what the other buyers in the marketplace aren't doing, which is know about the properties first. What you're doing is you're making your offer sound like it's tailored to investors. What I'm making it sound like is that I would never make this offer to anyone who isn't an investor. Meanwhile, of course, it's the same offer for any buyer. Every buyer's looking for a good deal. What you're doing, though, is to that investor, you're making it sound like you've tailored this plan just for them as an investor. But you could do that with anybody. You could say that to a first-time buyer. You know, there are great opportunities for first-time buyers, properties with low down payments that carry for less than rent, and these properties are coming on the market, but you need to know about them because they go very, very quickly. We can tailor the offer to whoever the audience is, but if it's an investor, it makes even more sense to the investor than to anybody else. Great question. Next.
Okay, I thought we could move on to a chat, or not a chat, I'm sorry, a role play set. I'm flustered, James. I've lost my train of thought. We're going to move on to a role play. Dharmendra, your line is open.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm good, James. How are you?
Excellent. What would you like to do today?
Well, we can go with the ad on distress sales, but if you want to come up with the objections, then maybe I'll try to handle it.
Oh, don't you worry. I will.
Okay.
Okay, so ring. Hello.
Well, hi. May I speak to James McDonald, please?
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, James. This is Dharmendra. I'm from Remax, and the reason I'm calling is I've received your request about the distressed homes in the Scarborough area that you requested, and I'm preparing some of these properties to mail it to you today. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Okay. James, are you guys thinking of making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
We're looking.
You're looking into that. And James, do you currently rent or do you have your own house?
No, we're renting.
You're renting there. Are you planning to stay in the same area that you're living currently, or thinking of moving to a different area?
Well, we need to stay in the east, the east side of Toronto, but we're open. We're looking and seeing what's available. So anything that you can send in Scarborough is fine. But I guess we're just early, so we're looking.
Okay. So James, if you were to move, when do you think that might be?
If we were to make a move, well, I guess it wouldn't be till next year, certainly. But I don't know. The sooner the better. But it's going to take some time. We're working on some different things, with the bank and stuff like that. So yeah.
So
it'll be a few months for sure.
Few months. So are you thinking sometimes winter or in the spring times rather?
Yeah. Well, as I said, the sooner the better, but it's going to definitely take a few months. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And James, do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right for you to move?
Not really. No, we've had a couple realtors that we've met, so we've got some cards from different realtors. We went to some open houses a few weekends ago and looked at a bunch of properties just to see. But we're not there yet. We're early, so we're not ready to work with a realtor just yet.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe next year.
Next year. Would you like me to email you some of the daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all the real estate companies? Our list includes, of course, the distressed properties that we discuss, includes some of the company-owned property, bank foreclosures, and those properties that may not be in the market. And by the way, that's a free service. There is no cost, and there is absolutely no obligation to you. Would that be interest to you, James?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your list. So will I get that today? Is the list on its way today?
That's a good question, James. I have to prepare that. So, James, when can we get together for about 15 to 20 minutes so that I can take down exactly what type of properties and what you are looking into, and that way I can understand better. Is that evening times are better for you or the daytime?
Well, I just want to look at the list of properties that you're sending first, and then maybe we can talk about that. I'm not really ready to meet with a realtor right now. You said that you were sending me a list of properties. Am I going to get those first, or?
Yes, James, that's correct. I am preparing that. However, James, I wanted to understand your need very correctly so that I can do a proper good job to you. And rather than sending you, hundreds of emails and hundreds of properties that does not match your criteria or your needs, and in fact, missing out the perfect one that you are looking for. So to understand that, it's when we can sit down, I will understand exactly. So is that weekdays better for you, or weekend is?
Yeah, but we're not buying anything right now. Like we can't buy anything right now.
James, this is absolutely free, and there is no obligation. You are not buying any property until you realize this is the best for you, and there is no cost to you. As I said, I wanted to email you or show you the properties that really interest to you. I don't want to waste your time. So is this weekend better or weekdays is better for you, James?
Probably evenings are fine, but I better let me speak with my wife, and we'll and then we can come up with a time. She'll be all freaked out if I have a realtor come here.
Well, that's very good, James. That's really good thing. It's better to discuss with both of you. So, James, as you said, evening is better for you. How about if we can tentatively set up a time for today evening around 7 o'clock? If
no, we're not available this evening. This evening's bad. Yeah.
Oh, this evening is bad today. How about tomorrow, Friday evening? Is that 5 o'clock works for you, or 7 o'clock is better?
5:30 would be better.
5:30 would. So let's tentatively book at 5:30, and certainly you can speak to your wife. In case if there is any change, James, let me know so we can reschedule, or else I will see you around 5:30, and I'm going to email you my office address, James. It's very close to Scarborough. It's in the Scarborough, so we can meet there at 5:30 tomorrow evening then.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you very much, James.
You're welcome. Okay, so first of all, really good job, but it's interesting how when we got to making the offer, okay, this is very typical. You have to differentiate between what you're proposing now versus what you told me you were sending me. Did you not feel that was a little bit awkward?
Yes,
like,
I did.
You're telling me, I'm going to send you bank foreclosures, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I thank you. You told me, you said you're sending me a list of foreclosures and distress sales. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, please send me the list. You told me at the very beginning of the call, I'm preparing a list. I'm going to send it out to you. You're going to receive it today. Is that okay? Yes. Then 2 minutes later, you said, would you like me to send you distress sales? And I say, you must be out of your mind. You already told me you did. Mm-hmm. Do you see how the prospect might think, I don't understand what's going on here. I'm really confused now.
Correct.
Here's why. We have to differentiate. We have to do a better job of. See, I know that the words are written down on the page, but we've got to speak the words so that the prospect really understands it. So, So
James, at the beginning where I said I'm preparing that list to mail you today, should I use that kind of language, or should I use some better words?
No, nothing is wrong with your introduction. What is the only problem here is when you're making me the offer, you just need to emphasize daily. You need to make sure the prospect understands what I'm sending you are properties that are already on the market. What I'm proposing to send you are properties as they come on the market every day. That's the difference. Right now, I'm sending you a list of properties that are still for sale because they've been overlooked by all the other buyers. The property that you and your wife are going to purchase is not one of those properties. The property that you're likely going to purchase, whether that's next month, 2 months, 6 months from now, has not been put on the market today. It's not on the market right now. It's going to be on the market, but it hasn't come on the market. So what I'm proposing is that I email you all of the properties as they come on the market every day that represent a great deal that match what you're looking for. I want you to be able, if you feel like the prospect doesn't understand what you're offering, you need to be able to explain it more thoroughly so that the prospect absolutely understands. What you've sent me are a list of properties that have already been overlooked by all the other buyers. That's why they're still for sale. What you're proposing now is that you send me not the properties that are on the market, what you're proposing is that you send me the properties as they come on the market. There's a big difference between those two things. And here's what you'll discover in practice. When the prospect understands that, they want it. Okay, now here's the other thing I threw at you. I said, look, we're not ready to buy anything today. And I thought you handled it pretty well, but I want to give you some more weapons to handle that, okay? What you really want to explain, the way you really want to explain it is the same way that I explain it to all of you, which is this. What you're doing is you're helping the prospect look. Look, you're looking for properties, okay? The reason I know that is because you responded to my distress sale ad. You were looking for a property. You're looking for properties. I understand you're not in a position to buy a property today, but you're looking around. What I'm proposing is that, hey, if you're going to look, you might as well look at the very, very best properties as they come on the market. So I'm not obligating you to buy anything. You don't have to buy anything. You never will. Okay. What I'm proposing is this. I have a better way for you to look for properties. And it's free, and there's no obligation, and it includes all the best deals, and I can set you up on that right now. Would you be interested in that?
So, James, should I use the wordings like as you are looking into the distress sale, will that kind of offend them, or?
No, here's the bottom line is that their perception of a distress sale is a great deal. Mm-hmm. They're looking for a great deal. So when you're talking to them, yes, you can say, I'm going to include distress sales, foreclosures, great deals, must-sell properties, all the properties that represent a great deal, but more importantly, represent what you're looking for. I'm going to make sure that they're sitting in your email inbox as soon as they come available on the market.
Okay.
You see how, as a buyer, the only thing that would get in the way of me saying yes to that is if I think that by accepting it, I have to buy something today, which I don't. But if I think that, if I think, geez, this guy thinks like I'm going to buy something today, I better put the brakes on this. I'm going to pump the brakes, and I'm just going to say, you know what, we're not ready for that. What I'm really saying is we're not ready to buy anything. But you know that. I don't have to buy anything. So you need to make sure that you use language that removes that risk, that threat that I feel. Okay? Removes that pressure. You can say, I have clients that are receiving emails for months and months and months. That's perfectly okay. There is no cost and there is no obligation. Since you're spending your time looking, I've got a better, much more thorough way of you looking for the best properties. It's absolutely free and there's no obligation. Is that something that you'd consider? And by the way, that's language I'd like you to use as well.
Yeah, that's very good, yes.
When you handle an objection and you are circling back to booking the appointment, the language that you want to use that's very tactful is saying, would you reconsider a brief appointment at your convenience? Mm-hmm. So instead of saying, well, why don't we tentatively set up appointment? How about tonight at 5:30? That's very presumptuous. And what happens is for the ones that say yes, I mean, that's great. But for a lot of prospects, now they're feeling like you're a pressuring salesperson, and they don't like that. So an easier way to handle it is simply handling the objection. Why don't we do this? Why don't we set up a tentative appointment? And you can speak to your wife, and if the tentative time doesn't work out for you, then we can always reschedule it. Would you reconsider a brief appointment tentatively at your convenience? Now you say, okay, that sounds fine. Then I say, how's tonight at 5:30, or is tomorrow evening better?
Very good. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thanks for volunteering. That was a very, very good job. I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, James.
Our next guest is Alexandra German. Your mic is now open. Unmute on your end. Go ahead.
Hello, Alexandra. Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Hello.
How are you doing? I can hear
I'm
you loud and
good.
clear.
Okay, cool.
All right. What would you like to do today, Alexandra?
Let's do a role play.
All right. We're going to do a role play. Okay. So, ring, ring. Hello.
Okay. Hi, is James there?
Yeah. This is James.
Hi, James. It's Alexandra Germont with Remax Coastal Properties, and I'm calling because you requested a report on my website, and I'm about to send it to you. Is that okay?
What the report? Was that the report on shingles?
No, it was a report on the distressed sales in Oceanside.
I'm dealing with, my grandfather has shingles, so I requested a report, and that's what I thought it was. So I didn't know. I didn't know because you didn't say, so I didn't know.
Okay. Oh.
What was the report about? Sorry.
It was distressed sales in Oceanside.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yes, we are.
Oh, cool. Do you currently rent or you own your own home?
Well, right now we're living with my family.
Okay, and do you own or rent?
No. We're just staying here temporarily with my parents.
Okay, and you planning on staying in the same area or moving out to a different area?
Well, I included on your website the areas that we're interested in: Oceanside, Vista, some of the other areas as well. So
that's right. So if you were to move, when do you think that might be?
Well, we're looking around. So certainly sometime in 2016. But we're looking around, and if we find the right property, we'll buy it.
Okay.
So we're trying not to rush, and we're trying not to make a mistake. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We've got a couple realtors that are showing us some properties. One of my friends has a buddy who has been showing us some properties. So that's kind of where we're at. But I saw your ad, and it offered what looked like some good deals. I just wanted to check it out and see what you had.
Okay, and are you committed to your any of the realtors that showing you the properties? Have you signed any contracts with them?
I don't think we're going to sign anything, but I mean, honestly, they're really nice, and all due respect to you, I think they're doing a good job, I guess. So I don't know why we wouldn't use them to help us. So we haven't really thought about it. If you were to show us a property that you had that they didn't, I don't know. I guess that would throw a screw into it, but I don't really understand how it all works. So.
Okay. Would you like me to email you daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all real estate companies? My list includes any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, or other distressed sales. It's a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Would that interest you?
No, that sounds good. I'm getting emails from that other realtor. They send emails of properties. Not every day, but periodically I get emails from them. Is this the same thing?
Well, I don't know what they send you, but my list includes all the new listings, all listings in San Diego in areas that you're interested in, all company-owned properties, distressed sales, and sometimes properties that are not even on the market yet. So I can't say what they're emailing you, but that's what my list includes.
Yeah. That's sure. I'd like to see those. That's what we're interested in.
Okay, when can we get together for about 20 minutes so I can take down exactly what you're looking for?
Probably would be best. We're not going to be doing anything until at very least January, so let's call it like third week of January would probably be good. And by that time, I guess we'll be a little more serious about pulling the trigger and buying something. I'm hoping there's more inventory, more properties to look at by that point as well. So yeah, that would be good.
Okay. So are you going to still look at the properties in December?
Oh yeah. No. We'll look online and I'm going to look at the list that you're sending me. If we see anything that we like on the list, maybe I'll give you a call and maybe we can go take a look at it or something like that. But we're definitely not going to be buying anything. We wouldn't even consider putting an offer in on anything until at least January. So.
Well, okay, James. Well, that's the reason I want to get together with you to take down exactly what you guys are looking for. So I send you the properties that match your home buying criteria, and I don't want to miss a house that would be perfect for you. So that's why I'd like to get together before I send you anything. So, I know you're busy and I don't want to waste your time by sending you something you're not interested in or missing out on a perfect property. Are days or evenings better for you?
Evenings are good.
Okay, and is your wife? I would like to meet with both you and your wife. Are you guys available tomorrow? You said evenings? I missed it.
I've really thrown a screw into this, haven't I?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. You know what's happening is you're just thinking about too many things all at once. I get it. I know it's a little.
And I do it all the time, and I completely miss what you are saying, and that happens with prospects too. I start thinking what to say to their objection, and then I don't even hear what they're telling me.
Right. You don't hear what they're telling you because you're focused on what you are going to say.
Yes.
Right? But here's where this all stems from, okay? It all stems because instead of you saying what's better, days or evenings, you said, when would you like to meet? And that's not in the script. The script does not say when would you like to meet. It says what would be better, days or evenings. Because if you say to me, when would you like to meet, I'm going to say third week of January. That's what I'm going to say. Now you have to argue with me about meeting with me sooner. Hey, you asked me, when would you like to meet? I told you, I'd like to meet third week of January. Now all of a sudden you're saying, well, I don't want to meet with you then. I want to meet with you now. Why didn't you just say so in the first place then? This all came because this was not thrown into the script as an afterthought. It was very strategically written into the script. Alexandra, what would be better for you for a brief 15, 20-minute appointment? Something during the day or something in the evenings or perhaps something on the weekends? What would be better? Now, you pick. Weekends would be better. Okay. What's better, Saturday or Sunday? Saturday. Would you like to meet on Saturday in the morning sometime, around 10, 11 a.m. or in the afternoon later on? What would be better for you? I control when the appointment is by doing it that way. But if I just say to you, hey, Alexandra, when would you like to meet? You're going to tell me March. Yeah. And now all of a sudden I have to fight with you and I've got to reel it back and I'm fighting a losing battle. So the reason that all of this is happening with our script right now is all because instead of you saying what's better, days or evenings, you said when would you like to meet? And I said third week of January. And
yeah,
honestly,
I didn't even notice it. Yeah, you're right.
That it could have all been avoided. All of it could have been avoided by just following that formula of days or evenings, evenings, weekends. I would have picked one, and then what you're doing is you're booking the appointment closer to now. And now if I say this, well, maybe we should do it a little later because we're not ready to buy anything right now. Then you could say, well, look, I understand you're not going to be buying anything until the new year, but you are looking right now. So if I know what you're looking for, we can do a great job of sending you all the properties that match what you're looking for, especially the great deals. And the best part, Alexandra, it's absolutely free. You're never obligated to buy anything, and there's no cost to this at all. So would you consider a brief appointment at your convenience? Days, evenings, weekends, I'm flexible. What would be best for you?
Yeah, I can see how, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now, see, here's something that was really good too, is I really tried to bait you into talking about the other agent who's helping you. And you know, it's hard, but you really didn't take the bait, which is good.
Okay,
It
good.
would be way too easy to talk about this other realtor. See, here's what you can tell. They're not 100% committed to using that other realtor. And you can tell by what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell. It's clear that I'm not committed to that other agent.
Mhm.
And here's really the litmus test. If I agree to meet with you, doesn't it show you that I'm really not committed to that other realtor? A
Yeah.
friend of a friend, I'm
Yeah.
not committed to them. So that's really good, because here's what you might have been tempted to do. You might have been tempted to talk about, well, you know, I'm a better choice than them. You know, I don't know what they charge. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, you guys charge me money? Oh, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know you charged me money. Now all of a sudden you're talking to me about what you charge. Well,
Mhm.
if I'm thinking about what you charge and I'm not ready to buy something right now, I'm definitely getting off the phone with you.
Yeah.
Because I like no cost, no obligation better than, I don't know what that realtor charges to get the job done, but they're not all the same. Whoa, so there's a charge here? You guys are charging me money? Oh, I'm out. I'm out right now then, because I'm just early. I'm just looking right now. So that can really backfire on you. I like the way you handled that a lot. What you need to work on is the offer and booking the appointment, which is it's not unusual. And at the very beginning, Alexandra, you've got to specify what information I asked.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah. You know what I asked for, so just specify. Hey, you were on my website last night and you were looking for a list of distressed sale bank foreclosures. Just wanted to give you a quick courtesy call and let you know I have prepared those properties and you're going to receive them shortly. Okay. Leave no question that, two things. Leave no question that, about the fact that I requested information from you. You're calling me because I asked you for information. You've got to make that clear. Otherwise, you're going to sound like a cold calling telemarketer.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you.
Great job, Alexandra. Thanks for volunteering.
Thanks.
We'll go ahead and take a couple of our questions now from Joseph, a little off topic, but I thought we could address it. Will this upcoming boot camp be different than last month in Huntington Beach?
Not really. No, not really. I mean, they're always different because so much of the content is brought by those that participate. No, I mean, honestly, if you participated in the one in Huntington Beach and you really, really liked it and thought, you know what, by the time mid-January rolls around, another day of focus would be good for you, you know exactly what you can expect out of it. But I'm not going to tell you, oh, no, it's going to be drastically different. It isn't going to be different. The only difference is that because it's so interactive, those who are in attendance to a large degree dictate the content and what we spend more time and less time discussing. So for that reason, they're always different. But as far as what we set out as an agenda to discuss, lead generation, lead conversion, everything that goes in between that, setting up systems, USP, buyer presentation, listing presentation, handling objection, all of those things, that is our set agenda. That's what we're going to work on. It's kind of like this. You know, I don't know why, but I really like this analogy, okay? A professional golfer goes out every day and they practice 3-foot putts. And a professional golfer did that 10 years ago. They will do it today. They will do it 10 years from now. They will always, always, always work on the same things, the fundamentals that cause them to be experts, their skills. But it's not like, well, now today we're going to work on something different. Get on your scuba gear. We're going to work on hitting balls out of the pond. They don't do that. They work on what we do every day. Lead generate, lead conversion, everything that goes within those two categories of lead generation, lead conversion, setting up systems, hiring, training, managing, working on the presentations. All of these things are what we do every day that build our business. So getting better and better and refining them is really all you need to work on. And that's what we work on at the boot camp. So think of it like the 3-foot putt. Yeah, we are going to practice that forever. It'll never end. We'll always work on those fundamentals, because perfecting those fundamentals will cause you to sell 500 homes a year every year for 15 years straight, like Craig, because that's the model that you're following. It's a pretty good model. What we discuss in the boot camp is what Craig did to sell 500 homes a year every year over and over again, 15 years straight. Pretty damn good model. So we don't really need to go beyond that. What we need to do is get really good at those things that cause that to happen. And even if you are 1/10 as successful, well, that's 50 sales. So there, and everywhere and anywhere in between. Hope that helps.
Our next question is from Jordan, and they also click the hand icon. So while I'm opening their mic, I'll ask their question. I'm doing a fairly good job of getting timing, but I'm rarely getting their motivation. And he asks for more help. Jordan, go ahead and unmute your mic on your end.
Yeah, hi guys.
Hey Jordan, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. I like your question. Here's what you want to do, okay? What you want to do is you want to have in your arsenal a couple of questions that you won't have on the universal script here that you can ask in the event that by asking the questions on the universal script, you really haven't satisfied yourself that you understand their motivation. So in other words, sometimes, we can just use the questions that are in the universal script and you'll get a very good idea of timing and motivation. But there are other times where, you know what, I don't understand their motivation to move. So I want you to have some other questions that might help you figure that out. Like, for example, when you ask the question, if you were to make a move, Jordan, would you be staying here locally or moving out of the area? Probably 7 times out of 10, the prospect is going to elaborate on where they're going, or why. If you were to make a move, when do you think that might be? Like, the questions are designed not to give a yes or no answer, but to elaborate. If you were to make a move, when do you think that might be? Well, we wouldn't do anything until the end of the school year. We're looking for something bigger, etc. But let's just say that having asked all those questions, we don't know. We're kind of like left going, I don't know how good they are. I don't know what their motivation is. What if we had some questions written down that we could turn to that would help us? Like, for example, what if we had a question like this? Hey, Jordan, how long have you been looking for a property? Hey, Jordan, how have you been looking for a property? Like, how? And what I'm getting at is this. I want you to rhyme off. We go to open houses, we comb the internet, we look at all the real estate magazines. Here's my question. If you did those things, would it show you motivation? Do you agree that would show motivation, Jordan?
Oh, definitely.
Right? Okay, so I'm just going to come flat out and ask it if I have to. Here's the question. Hey, Jordan, how have you been looking for properties?
I've been on Zillow.
Okay,
Looking
is that
on
it?
Zillow.
Is that it? What, do you have the app on your phone?
No, I just go online.
Yeah, anything else?
No, that's it. Some of the other sites also.
Yeah. Have you been to any open houses or done anything like that?
Once in a while. I've been to a few here and there.
Okay, so right away, I know more about your motivation now than I did before. Because you want to know who doesn't go to a few open houses? People that have no motivation. They don't do it. Only someone that has motivation would ever do that. So I already know, just in asking that question, that there's a little more motivation than I thought there was or that I knew before. Now, that question isn't in the script, but if I feel like, geez, man, Jordan, it's like it's like pulling teeth trying to get any information out of Jordan, so I need to ask some additional questions. Hey, Jordan, if you walked into an open house and it was the absolute perfect property, would you be in a position to buy it today?
I haven't spoken to a lender, so maybe not.
Okay. So when do you think you would be in a position where if the absolute perfect property came available, you'd buy it?
Well, I guess I've been waiting for my lease to end.
Okay, and when's that?
That's in 4 months.
Okay, so boom, this is good. By asking, so in other words, all the questions that I asked in the universal script didn't reveal that, number one, your lease expires in 4 months. It didn't reveal that you were going to open houses or that you'd gone to open houses. It didn't reveal that you were looking on Trulia or Zillow or whatever. You know, it didn't reveal that you haven't been to a lender and been pre-qualified yet. I didn't have any of that information out of you. The natural flow of the script didn't reveal any of those things. So what I had to rely on was asking some additional questions. I'm not telling you that every time you follow up with a lead, you need to ask these questions. I'm saying that in the instances where the prospect just doesn't give you anything, then you need to have some questions at the ready where you can ask those questions to try to figure out what you're dealing with. And I think that some of the questions that we talked about here are pretty good, right? How long have you been looking? How have you been looking? If the perfect home came available, would you be in a position to buy it? All those questions all revealed information about your motivation, Jordan, that we didn't know before. So I want you to write those down and have those ready so that when the prospect doesn't really give you anything, you've got some additional questions that would help you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, because here's how that script would go if I were speaking to you and you told me this. I would say this. I would say, okay, so Jordan, it's absolutely out of the question that even if you were to be pre-qualified and the perfect property were to come available, you absolutely cannot get out of your lease. So the earliest date that you could move into your new home would be 4 months from today. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Okay, but since you're looking now, and I can tell you're looking, you're going to open houses, you're looking online. If I emailed you every day all of the very best properties as they come on the market from all the different real estate companies, it would make your search a whole lot easier and you would never miss out on the perfect property. It's absolutely free, there's no obligation, and I can set you up to receive these properties every day automatically right into your email inbox. Would that be of interest to you, Jordan?
For sure, yeah.
Okay. When have you got 15 or 20 minutes so we can do a good job of figuring out what you're looking for? It's absolutely free, as I said. You're not obligated to buy anything, but I do want to do a good job of understanding what kind of property you want. And I'm flexible. When have you got 15, 20 minutes? Days, evenings, something on the weekend? What would be good for you, Jordan?
I'm pretty busy for the next week or so, so I have your phone number. I'll call you back and we'll set something up in about 2 weeks maybe.
Okay. Well, since you're looking in the meantime and since you're busy, I just have to tell you, this is designed for busy people. If I know exactly what you're looking for, in 15 minutes, I can save you hours and hours of time in the process, because rather than you going on to Trulia or wherever you're looking and spending hours of time doing that, I'm only going to email you the properties that match what you want. So you give me 15 minutes and you will save hours and hours of time throughout the process. There's no cost. I'm not going to hit you up for money. There's no obligation to buy anything. You know, we're talking about 15, 20 minutes here. Are you sure you wouldn't reconsider a brief appointment at a convenient time to you, Jordan?
Okay, yeah, that's definitely helpful. How about on Saturday?
Saturday, early in the morning or later on in the afternoon? What's good?
Around noon is good.
Noon is good. Okay, so let's set it up for noon. And you said that you haven't been pre-qualified yet. That's some information that I can give you there as well. Do you have a cash down payment saved up, Jordan?
Yeah, I've been saving a bit.
Okay, and you've got good job stability?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if there's any, dings in your credit that you're aware of, or anything that would? Is there anything you're worried about that would stop you from being able to procure a home loan that you know of?
I've been late on a few payments here and there, so I wouldn't say I have perfect credit.
Okay, but nothing, nothing that you're aware of that would disqualify you. All right. Well, listen, we can deal with all of this on Saturday. Remember, leave your wallet and checkbook in the car. I'm not hitting you up for money, but just consider, in the meantime, all of the elements of a property that would be really important to you, and that way we can get done that much quicker. The better understanding I have of what you're looking for, the better job we're going to do. By the way, Jordan, are you married?
No.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, because if you were, you should bring your spouse with you as well. That would be helpful. We'll see you on Saturday at noon.
Okay. See you then. Thank you.
All right. So anyway, there's some additional tools to put in your toolbox. The answer is this. Okay, to sum all this up, what you are going to do is you're going to have some additional questions, and the questions are only going to be used in the instances where you don't really know their motivation. Like they haven't given you anything. And the questions that we're going to ask are going to be a little more direct. And hopefully, in asking those questions, we're going to get a better handle on where this prospect is at. But here's one thing I never want you to forget. You know that the only reason you're calling this prospect in the first place is because they were looking for real estate, they responded to your ad, they visited the website, they gave their contact information, they gave up their anonymity. If they did all of those things, you know who does that? Somebody with some motivation. Like, normal people don't do that. People that have no interest in buying a property or looking for property, they don't do that. They would never, ever give up their anonymity for something that they don't want. The only reason they did all of those things is because it's highly likely there's a level of motivation there. What we're trying to discover is, we know there's motivation. What we want to know is, what is the level of motivation? That helpful?
Very helpful.
Cool. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate you volunteering here today.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Scott Foxon. Your telephone line is open.
Good morning, James.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You?
Awesome.
All right. Well, I would like to do the buyer follow-up call, please.
Okay. So, ring. Hello.
Hi. May I speak with James McDonald, please?
Yeah. This is me.
Hi, James. This is Scott Foxon calling from Foxon Realty. And the reason I'm reaching out to you is because I received your request for distressed properties in the Fresno area, and I'm working on that list for you. Will that be okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Great. Are you planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
I don't know. It depends on what we find. I guess we're kind of thinking about finding something bigger. We've been looking for a little while now, but yeah, I mean, I just wanted to see what you had and see if there's anything different there. See if I can find a really good deal. We would, we might think about doing something.
Okay. Do you currently rent or own your own home?
No, we own.
We own. Were you guys thinking of listing your home before you buy, or you wanting to sell first?
Yeah, no, you know what? Honestly, we would probably keep this property as an investment property is what we'd probably do. Now, there's a chance, I guess, we'd sell it, but no, it all depends on what we find. If we find something that's awesome, that's great, that fits what we're looking for, then that would be completely independent of anything that we did with our property. So yeah, we're just kind of fantasizing right now a little bit.
Okay. If you were to move, when do you think that might be?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess when we found if we find the right property, we would do it.
Okay. Do you have a realtor to help you out when the time is right?
Yeah, we've got a couple of realtors. I mean, there's no shortage of realtors. Well, you know what we'll probably do is what we did with this place. Whatever realtor finds us the property, we probably use them. So if if you did a lot of work and you found us a great deal and you called me and said, hey, James, I found a great deal, then we would certainly, we'd buy the property through you, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, what I would like to do is set you up with emails for daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all real estate companies, which include bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distressed sales, and discount properties. It's a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Would that interest you?
Yeah. And these are different than the properties that you're sending me now? Like you're working on this list right now, I take it?
This list will be specific to the criteria that you're looking for.
I see.
Do you think we can get together for 20 minutes so I can get down exactly what you're looking for?
Yeah, well, I got some time. We're looking for something with a little acreage. That would be, something private with some acreage. Anything, it's got to be over 3,000 square feet. But other than that, I'd like to see everything. We'd like a pool. Got to have a pool. But other than that, I just want to see everything. I don't know. There's probably some other things I could think of, but we want to know everything that's available. We don't want to miss out on anything.
Okay. Are you available to meet? Is it better for you to meet on evenings or mornings?
Okay. Do we need to meet to tell you what I'm looking for? We have to meet? I can't tell you over the phone?
Well, rather than send you hundreds of emails or properties that may or may not match your criteria, or even worse, missing out on the perfect one, if we can get together for 20 minutes, I have a form that I fill out, and I can get down exactly what you're looking for. And of course, it's at no cost to you.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, all right. Well, probably something on the weekend would be fine.
Okay. And would you prefer mornings, afternoons, or evenings?
Mornings are good.
Okay. And are you married, James? I am. Great. Well, if you would like, you should bring your spouse, and we can get together over the Saturday evening and go over the list.
Okay, perfect. So where are we going now?
Great. I will have you. I will send you the information. We'll meet at my office.
Meet at your office. Okay. Okay. Now, first of all, great job. Okay, that was pretty good. I tried to throw some curveballs at you, but you hit them pretty well. So that was good. But there's a couple little loose language issues that are probably habitual more than anything else. But I want you to eliminate them because they're completely unnecessary and they kind of send out the wrong signal. Okay, the first is this. When you make me the offer, okay, to email me daily updates of all the homes that come on the market, what you say is you premise it by saying this. What I would like to do, we understand that language is very different than would you like me to? So all you're doing is you're changing, hey, what I would like to do for you, because here's the truth. If I think you're a salesperson, then what you would like to do probably involves selling me. But if you turn that around and instead the way that you position it is this, would you like me to email you every day daily updates of all the properties that match what you're looking for? What you're doing is you're just framing the offer from a position of benefit to them as opposed to benefit to you. If this is beneficial to me as the realtor, I say, hey, listen, what I really want is to set you up with this thing that obligates you to me. That's what I really want. Now, we don't want that to enter the minds of any of our prospects. So we're never going to say what I would want. The prospect doesn't care what we want. The prospect cares a great deal about what they want. So it's very easy to just turn that around, and instead we just position it this way. Would you like to receive daily emails every single day of all the properties as they come on the market? Now it's about what they want. Now I know it sounds like a small thing, but on the phone, we only have words. That's it. It's the words that come out of our mouth that paint a picture. So the picture that's painted is very different than when I say what I want versus would you like, or would you want this? Very, very different. Okay, that's number one. Number two, when you ask for the appointment, the way that you asked for the appointment was you said something like, would you be available, or it was like, you know, would it be okay? It just words that were completely unnecessary instead of getting right to the offer, which is when when would be a good time for us to get together so that I can take down exactly what you're looking for. Instead of just saying, when would be a good time for us to get together, instead you preface that by saying, you know, if it's okay, or, you know, if you can find some time. I want to go back and listen to the exact words that you use, but you've got to eliminate them. You've got to make it sound like it's understood that to receive this benefit, meeting with you is a necessity, and it's not a big deal, right? Like when the dentist office calls to book your appointment, they don't kind of dance around the idea that you have to meet with them. It's understood. It's like, yeah, we're going to meet. That's how it's going to work. You're going to come into the office. That's how this works. So we've got to kind of come from that position as well, that the way this works is, when are you available to meet with us for 20 minutes so we can take down exactly what you're looking for? Days, evenings, weekends, what would be best? And it needs to be understood as no big deal that this is how it works. And the prospect will go along with it. They'll follow the leader. Yeah, okay, well, I don't know, weekends are good. But that was very, very good, and I did throw you some curveballs that you did a good job. But here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to go back, and I want you to listen to our role play. And I want you to listen to those two things. Number one was when you introduced the offer, and number two was when you booked the appointment, or when you asked for the appointment. You're adding words that make it sound like it's optional for me to say yes. And,
yeah, no, I
want you to eliminate
them.
It's very subtle, very, very subtle, but I want you to eliminate them because they don't do any good. They don't do any good at all.
Yeah, I definitely understand, because now that you bring it up, instead of, mentioning the appointment and saying, when can we get together for about 20 minutes, I instead ask for permission, and that just opens up the door for them to, not agree to the appointment.
And what it does is it kind of paints the picture that you're okay with them saying no. It kind of, that's what you're doing, is you're saying, look, hey, you know what, this is like a crapshoot. I don't know. Maybe you'd be into this, maybe not. Some people are, some people aren't. But, any chance you'd think about meeting with me for 15 minutes? Like, I get it if you don't want to, but would you consider it? Like, the answer is no. We cannot come across in any way like that. It has to be a given, understood. I've given you a great offer. You said yes. The way to get it, we got to meet for 15, 20 minutes. Here's the reason. I'm going to take down exactly what you're looking for in detail. We're not going to miss out on anything. I'm going to do a super great job for you. There's no cost. There's no obligation. You'll be on your way in 15, 20 minutes. All we got to do is set a time. What's good for you, days, evenings, weekends? With absolute confidence and clarity, we are going to book the appointment without any words that would give them the idea that there's another option. There is no other option. If you want what I'm offering, there's one way of getting it and one way only. That's to come and meet with me for 15 or 20 minutes.
Now let me ask you something. I get this pretty often, as far as at the intro. I'll ask for the prospects, am I speaking with the prospect? And they'll go, who's this? And then I'll identify myself, and I've kind of heard some people just kind of roll into the the intro. Or should I be like, hey, is this Mr. or Mrs. Prospect? Am I speaking with Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, then roll into it? Because I don't want to just assume.
So watch this. So we'll reverse this. Ring, ring.
Hi, may I speak with James?
No, I'm calling you. No, I'm calling you. No,
oh, okay.
I'm calling you. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Is Scott there, please?
Who's this?
It's James McDonald calling with Craig Proctor's office at Remax Omega. And the reason I'm calling is I got your request last night on my website for a free list of distress sale and bank foreclosure properties. And Scott, I just wanted to give you a quick courtesy call and let you know I have prepared those properties and I emailed them out to you just now. I hope that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right? Like, you know what? The only thing you could say there is this: I'm not Scott. Like, I guess you
I was
say
thinking
that.
about saying that.
Right? Okay, but if that's the worst thing that you could say is I'm not Scott. Then I could say, oh, I'm sorry, it was Scott that requested the information. Is Scott around?
Yeah,
like,
let me get him.
Other than that, like what, there's nothing. If I say, may I speak with Scott, and you say, who is this? Well, I guess I'm assuming that you're Scott asking who this is. So I'm going to roll right into it. Okay, think of this. You are a telemarketer to the prospect until you tell them that you're not. So the longer time goes by without me telling them why I'm calling, the longer they think I'm a telemarketer. And the longer they think I'm a telemarketer, the more likely it is I'm going to get hung up on. So as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to say, the reason I'm calling is because you were on my website last night looking for bank foreclosure distress sale deals. I just wanted to give you a real quick courtesy call here and let you know I prepared a great list of properties for you, and I'm emailing them to you now. I hope that's okay, Scott. Now, if you're Scott, you're probably going to say, oh, okay, yeah, I did do that. Thank you. Great. But I'm completely disarming the, who's this? What do you want? Because I'm telling you why. I'm not a telemarketer. I'm calling because you requested information from me. Here's the deal. I'm putting it together. I'm sending it. Is that cool? And I'm doing my very best to disarm the situation and make sure that you understand I'm not some telemarketer. And the worst thing you could say is, well, this isn't Scott. Okay, well, cool. Where is he? Scott's the one that requested the information, unless that was you. May I speak with him? No big deal. I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. Thanks, James.
You're welcome. All right, Andrea, let's take one more here. Why don't we do this? Let's wrap up some of the chat questions here. And then let me remind everybody that tomorrow, of course, is our ad clinic session. So do make sure that you upload anything that you'd like us to take a look at, and we'll do that tomorrow on our webinar.
Okay, we have Kenneth Lee, and he's asking about the app that you send voice-recorded messages to remind prospects of the appointment. Do you remember what that app is called?
Yes, what you are talking about is called SlyDial. All right, it's called SlyDial is what you're talking about. Now, so Sly, S-L-Y, dial, D-I-A-L, SlyDial. Okay, now here's what SlyDial is. What SlyDial allows you to do, if you're going to try this, if you're going to test it, what it allows you to do is call the prospect and leave a message that goes directly into their voicemail without their phone ringing. They cannot answer the phone because the phone does not ring. It goes directly into their email inbox, into their voicemail inbox. Now, what you leave on the message is critical. The message should sound like this. Hey, it's James calling with Craig Proctor's office at Remax. We've got our appointment tonight at 7 o'clock. I just wanted to make sure that you've considered all of the important elements of the home that you would be looking for. So not just things like price and stuff like that, but all the details that are important to you in the home that you're looking for. That way I can do a really good job of determining what you're looking for and getting you in and out of here in 15, 20 minutes. Don't bring your wallet or checkbook. There's no cost. We're at 123 Maple Street. We'll see you tonight at 7. Thanks a lot. Okay, that's what your message sounds like. But here's the benefit. They don't answer the phone. It goes right into their voicemail. And the reason that's beneficial is because if they answer the phone, what you're going to discover, I'm telling you, what you're going to discover is that when they answer the phone, more often than you'd like, they're going to postpone the appointment. They're going to say, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm really busy. Can we do this another night? Now you're like, damn, I wish I didn't call. So this is a better way of doing it. If you're going to send out an email or you're going to send them a reminder by telephone, use SlyDial. All right, one more, Andrea, and then we'll wrap it up for today.
Okay, I'll address Michelle's question because it was also asked by another member. Should we ask if they are married? What if they are not married but have a partner that will be purchasing the property with them? What is the best way to ask them if they can bring the other person?
Well, you know, I mean, I guess you're just going to have to discover that. You're going to have to discover that. You know, this is something that we have to not get caught up in, is that if the worst case scenario is that we meet with one of the decision makers and the decision maker signs their contract with us, we're going to get the other one as well. And a contract with one decision maker is just as strong as any contract. So this is not the end of the world. I mean, if we're talking about listing the property, well, that might be a different story. But if we're talking about a buyer, and the worst case scenario is we bring in a buyer and then we discover, well, I'm an investor, but I have a partner. Okay, so we'll get the other partner as well. If we can procure that one decision maker to hire us and sign our contract, we're going to very likely get the other one as well. So this is the exception, not the rule. Okay? Here's the rule. The rule is we're going to figure out over the phone 99 out of 100 times if the prospect is married and there are two decision makers. We're going to figure that out. And 1% of the time, yeah, we're not going to figure that out. We're not going to know. But err on the side of caution and book the appointment. And then we'll discover that. I'm sure at the appointment, you'll discover, well, you know what, I'm doing this with somebody else. Okay, good. But don't change your system and have like questions. Are you married to a woman? Do you have a partner? Do you have a harem? Are there more than one wives involved in this scenario? Like, we can't get ridiculous about this. I think 99 times out of 100, we're going to be able to ask, you know what, is there another decision maker involved in this? Are you married? That's pretty good. 99 times out of 100, you're going to get your answer. 1% of the time, you aren't. Okay, no big deal.
Craig kind of, and I wanted to bring this up, Craig kind of addressed this on a previous role play session. There is one exception if you're using our divorce ad where you may want to tiptoe around this subject.
Very good idea. Yes. If it's a divorce and you say, is there, are there other decision makers, perhaps your new boyfriend? Don't do that. Yeah. So sure, we can use common sense when it comes to that. Andrea, thank you so much as always for your help. Everybody who volunteered and everybody present on our webinar here today, I do appreciate your attending, and we'll look forward to tomorrow. Because tomorrow we're going to talk all about lead generation, and we're going to look at what you're doing and offer you some help and advice on tweaking and making it even better. So until then, thank you so much. And Andrea, thanks for your help again.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Talk to you all in tomorrow's ad clinic session.